Blessings, everyone. It's Tia Deshay. Today is Wednesday, March 1st, 2023. It is 11:35 a.m. and this is an educational course brought to you by Mirrored Moments with Tia Deshay. The title of this class is "You Cursed, Hexed, and Returned to Sender. Now what?" Before we And here are some uploads that I've received that I would like to share with you. One is about King Charles's coronation. I just received, or it was yesterday, didn't receive details, just that expect an energetic shift. I don't know what it is about this event. Remember, as above, so below. That what occurs in the physical realm is also occurring in the spiritual realm. So him being crowned king has a spiritual significance, and it will cause an energetic shift that all of us will experience or feel the effects of. So stay protected, continue to be diligent and consistent and focused and determined and disciplined with your spiritual practices, because it's something about him being crowned king that will cause an energetic shift. It's already causing an energetic shift in the spirit realm, and it's just waiting to manifest itself in the physical realm. So be mindful of that. Also, at first, when I was receiving information about, people that I know going back to situations, I was like, oh no, they'll regret it. That's not a good idea. But Spirit corrected me, checked me, and was like, no, this is how it's supposed to be. So for whatever reason, for some reason, you may even be experiencing this yourself or with people that you know, that people are going back. They're going back to situations that they were in before COVID. They're going back. It could be people, places, events, situations, etc. To course correct. It's course correction. So don't be surprised if you need to go back. Don't feel like it's a step backwards, that you're losing ground, that you're going in the wrong direction. It's like, no, you need to go back, because there were things that were left undone, unfinished, that need to be completed before you're able to move forward. So pay attention. If people seemingly, to you, it may look like, well, why are you going back to that situation? Why are you going back? Why are you taking a step backwards? Why do you want to go back to that when you just left that? It's not in a bad way. It's not in a bad way. Things have to be rectified. The loose ends need to be tied up, need to be completed, need to be finished. There were things that were left undone that need to be completed. So the person is not taking a step backwards. They're actually taking a step forward. Although it looks like they're going backwards, they're actually taking several steps forward so they can clean up karma or finish what they were supposed to finish, and then that way they're able to move forward. So that's another message that I received. Don't look at it in a bad way if it feels like you have to go back. Because it was just things that were left undone, unfinished. You didn't receive maybe all of what you were supposed to receive from that particular situation, relationship, event, place, person. Like, it's more that you need to learn or more that you need to gain from that particular situation. So you need to go back. And all that you need to gain and learn is you're going to need it for where you are going. It was kind of like, I'm hearing like witness protection program. Like, you needed to be away for a minute to get some things together on your end, personally, on a personal level. And now that you've gotten those things together, or things needed to be revealed to you, but things needed to be put together on a personal level for you. So now when you go back, it's going to be different. It's not going to be the same. But it's like you needed temporarily to be like put in witness protection or taken away for a minute in order to prepare you to go back and then move forward. I don't know how else to explain it, but to explain it in that way. And for those that it resonates with or that it's for, it will make sense. It will make sense. So don't get hard on yourself. Don't feel like you're a failure if you have to go back. If something is pulling you to go back, it's a reason why. It's a reason why you're going back, because it's going to be very integral to your future. And the birds are outside confirming it. All right, so those are the uploads that I received. So let's get into today's class. All right, when we talk about cursing, hexing, returning to sender, there are results that you should expect. Okay, so here are some of the results. Death. And I received this revelation while taking a shower this morning. And different scriptures or different events, different stories in the Bible were coming to me to help me understand what I'm teaching today. So, death. And this also goes along with the Psalms. We did a complete Bible study of cursing Psalms here on my channel. Go and check it out if you haven't checked it out. And it's all in alignment with the cursing Psalms that we did in our Hoodoo Bible study series. So one thing to expect is death, the end of the situation. Now, there may be physical death, but I'm here to tell you that physical death is not a result of what you did. The physical death is a result of the person not listening, not adhering to wisdom, not adhering to wise counsel. Because whether it's your intention or not, grace always kicks in when we perform spells of cursing or hexing or return to sender. A person is always given a warning to change their ways. Always, always. Because you have to remember, even if the person who's doing the cursing, hexing, or return to sender spells or workings is straight up of the dark, like they just straight up, they do spells and workings strictly from the darkness. You have to remember that everybody has somebody in their life that is praying for them, that is a worker, is a light worker, is a person of the light. And so that person's grace kicks in for the target. So they're always given a warning, and it could be through that person. If that person is still living, or if the person has passed on, that person will come to them in a dream or a vision or whatever, And they will warn them, like, you really need to get your life together. You really need to get your life together. Because you're going down the wrong path. So even though you're sending these curses and hexes to this person, there is somebody working on their behalf, warning them, like, you need to get it together. You need to get it together. Like, you can't keep living like this. It's only so much I'm going to be able to do for you. You need to get it together. And so if they ignore the warnings and physical death happens, it's not, you didn't cause the physical death with the cursing, the hexing, and the return to sender. Because even when you engage in those types of spells, nothing a person did, unless, I would say this, unless there was death involved, then your result is physical death. And that's only for highly trained practitioners. But most of the time, when we are engaging in cursing and hexing and return to sender, our end result is not physical death. They didn't, because we're not dead. The goal is to return to them the same energy multiplied that they gave to us, they sent to us. So obviously, if we're doing the curse or the hex or the return to sender, we're not dead. So we're not saying the end result is going to be physical death for them. You're returning multiplied the same energy that they sent to you. So if they caused you to lose a job, then they're gonna lose their job, plus some. If they caused you a relationship, if they cause drama in your relationship, their relationships are going to have drama and plus some. Very rarely is the end result physical death, unless, of course, that was what occurred. If that is what they sent to you, and only highly trained practitioners can engage in that or should engage in that, or physical death occurred not because of the curse or hex or return to sender spell you did. It is because they refused to listen to wise counsel. Death more so is the ending of the behavior. The ending of the behavior and the beginning of a changed environment and changed behavior. That's the death that I'm referring to. That is an end result. They cease to engage in the behavior that they engaged in before you did the curse, hex, or return to sender spell. Okay. Another end result will be restitution or restoration. That everything that you lost in this process, from emotions to time to energy to relationships to money to creative ideas, all of that will be restored to you. And it could be by the very hands of the person who caused the chaos and disruption to begin with. In the Bible, look at every instance in the Bible when there was a so-called enemy. It either ended in physical death, it either ended in the enemy being taken captive, and then becoming, and we're going to get into that, the servant of the person who took them captive, or it ended up with that person actually doing good for the person they tried to harm. And we'll go more into that. Look in the Bible, study the Bible for yourself, and that's basically the three ways that it ended whenever there was an enemy. And when we went over the Psalms, the cursing Psalms, we talked about that. Go and engage in that Bible study series of the cursing Psalms, because death was involved. It was either the physical death of any thought forms that was causing, that were your enemies and that were causing you to believe that you were not of the divine, that you were not a manifestation of God. It was either physical death, because the Psalms talk about bones being broken, um, and bones being broken, and things being demolished or turned to rubble, or it could be a spiritual death, and it was the ending of the behavior that caused the disruption. Look in the Bible. The Bible will tell us how to handle our enemies and what to expect when we handle our enemies. In the Bible, they were cursing, hexing, and returning to sender their enemies, and they were doing it through war. They were doing it through prayer. Moses was doing it through the 10 plagues. And there were definite results. Okay, read the Bible. It will give you evidence of what I'm talking about and what I'm teaching you in this class. So restitution, restoration, that is the end result of your hexing, your returning to center, and your cursing. You should receive restitution and restoration. Everything that was lost during that process will be restored. That is probably why I got the upload of people going back to get restoration, to be restored. All right. They will either move or there will be separation. They may physically move if it's a neighbor, if it's somebody on your job. They may be transferred to another department. They may find another job. They may get fired. But they will no longer be in your presence. Go back. The Psalms, the cursing Psalms told us that. They will no longer be in your presence. Separation, the relationship may end. All of a sudden, you just stop talking to the person. And you don't know why. That could be because that person was really your enemy. Because a lot of times, we say return to sender anybody, known or unknown, that's causing me harm or sending me evil eye or speaking negative about me or gossiping about me. And when we say known or unknown, you don't even know that it may be the very person that you consider a friend. And all of a sudden you all stop talking. Well, that's because they were your enemy and you didn't realize it. So doing that return to sender resulted in the separation, in the ending, the death of that relationship. You two are no longer friends. It may indicate the separation of a romantic relationship, a work relationship. But these are the end results. One of these things that I'm talking about, or more than one of these things that I'm talking about, is supposed to happen as a result of a curse, hex, or return to sender spell. You should see one or more of these things occur for an effective curse, return to sender, hexing spell. All right, service or servants, they will be your servant to your good. Florence Scovel Shinn has a affirmation that you do. Because how she describes it, when you're carrying all this bitterness and anger and frustration and you're irritated by people, what you're doing is you're demagnetizing yourself to your good. And what you're doing is you're magnetizing yourself to having more of that in your life. So a lot of times when we experience the same situation except with different people, it's because we never forgave the previous situation with the previous person that we underwent that situation with. So Florence Scovel Shinn says in her book, what is it? Your words have power, or I'm listening to it on an audiobook. But one of her books, she says, in the path to intuition, the path of intuition. Let me say this correctly. So we have. Let me look up. Okay. So in her books, it's not. I'm not listening to that. Let's see what I'm gonna listen to. It is The Power of the Spoken Word. I'm currently listening to that on audio. And I listened to the other book. Is it The Path to Intuition? It's under Hay House. I think it's The Path to Intuition. Here it is. This book. The Magic Path of Intuition. So I listened to The Magic Path of Intuition yesterday, and I'm listening to The Power of the Spoken Word. I started yesterday and I'm going to finish today. So in those two books, she talks about how when whether you speak it or you think it, words of irritation, frustration, anger, bitterness toward a person, then you're actually demagnetizing yourself to your good. And you're actually magnetizing yourself to receive more of that. So you continuously encounter people and situations like the one that's causing you irritation and frustration. So she says, you need to forgive, send that person goodwill, blessings, and love. And one of her affirmations is the person that your apparent enemy now becomes your friend and is a link to your golden chain of good, which basically means that person is now going to be your servant. They're going to serve you and help you advance and help you be blessed. The Bible clearly states that about making your enemy your footstools. If you look in the Bible, in every situation where there was a quote unquote, I'm doing air quotes, enemy, eventually that enemy ended up working on that person's behalf. Look at Daniel in the lion's den. Look at Jesus. Everybody, in Christianity, people want to dog Judas, but Jesus used Judas to ultimately accomplish his goal, which was enlightenment. So while Christianity dogs Judas and, he was a betrayer, he betrayed the Messiah, he betrayed the Savior, but Jesus leveraged Judas. He used his enemy for his own benefit, for his good. And I believe that may be in the 48 Laws of Power. I haven't read that book, but that may be a concept in the 48 Laws of Power. And it may also be a concept in the Art of War. Like, after you do all this cursing, hexing, and return to sender, the end result is that enemy should be working for you, helping you, advancing you, becoming your servant, being of service to you. This is biblical. Time and time again, this is mentioned in the Bible. And so Florence Scovel Shinn has an affirmation to say that. Like, oh, just bless them, send them goodwill and love, because they will turn around and be your friend and help you in the long run. And I actually did a candle ritual for that. Because that's what the end result to all of this cursing and hexing and return to sender is, that they will be your servant. And it says that in the Psalms, the cursing Psalms that we went over, they will be your servants. Those thoughts that cause chaos and confusion in your life, they will now serve you. And they will now turn around and do good for you. It's called alchemy, transmuting that energy. They will do good for you. We're not talking about a slave situation. We're not talking about Cinderella and her stepsisters and her evil stepmother. We're not talking about that kind of situation. We're talking about they're going to advance you on your path, your divine path. And it's going to be done with love and grace and peace. But they will be your servant. And then there will be karma and accountability. The person will have to pay for their actions, because that's law. That is law. Now, you doing the cursing, the hexing, and the return to sender spell, you're just speeding up their karma. But even if you never did any spell, they were going to receive karma anyway, because that's law. For them not to reap what they sow will go against universal law, spiritual law, and that will never happen. Those laws will always work, whether you believe in them or not. And they will have to take accountability. That is why I really believe I got that message of people having to go back. Like, a lot of times, people want to go back and get rid of their past. But if you haven't learned from it, if you haven't done self-reflection, if you haven't apologized to the people that you wronged, if you haven't done anything differently, you can go back and try to get rid of your past all you want, and it won't work. It won't work. It will not work. That is why I got the message of people going back. There are a lot of people who are attempting to go back in their past and right their wrongs. And some of them are doing it in the correct way, and some are doing it in an incorrect way. They want to go back and, clear their record or get rid of their past, but they don't want to take accountability for it. And they don't want to take accountability in the form of changing, of doing a genuine, sincere change and working on themselves. They just wanted to be gone and do a half-ass apology, and then in their mind they're thinking, yeah, I got over. No, it's not going to work that way. We are in a 7-year, and it will be done in a spiritual way. There are no shortcuts this year, none whatsoever. You're going to have to do it the correct way in order for the situation not to ever return again in your life. Otherwise, you can expect 7 more years of turmoil and chaos. If you don't want to do it the right way, expect 7 more years of turmoil and chaos. So these are the end results that you should expect if you engage in a return to sender curse or hexing spell, ritual, or working. Not only for the target, but also for yourself. Because at first I was just like, girl, why are you so obsessed? But I realized I needed to have the moment. You got to clear it out. I would just continue to do the cursing, the hexing, the return to sender spells until I felt a release. Until I was at the point where it's like, okay, enough is enough. I feel a release. I forgive you. I love you. I bless you. I send you goodwill, and you will be a golden link. You will be a link to the golden chain of my good. Like, it's okay to continue if you are a practitioner in whatever spirituality that you adhere to. It's okay to keep doing it. Because really what you're doing is you're working on yourself as well. You know, you're cursing and hexing all those thoughts of bitterness and anger and rehearsing the situation and frustration and irritation. You're working on yourself as well. I've said that in previous videos here on YouTube. So keep doing it. Keep doing it until you've dissolved those thought forms and now you're ready to receive the good that this person is going to bring into your life. Because who you said was your enemy will now become your friend, and you will be able to receive with peace, love, joy, and grace the good that they are getting ready to give you and bring in your life. Because remember what Judas said. Remember what Jesus said when he was confronted by Judas in the Garden of Gethsemane. He kissed him and he said, he called him friend. He said, whatever you got to do, do it quickly. Like, don't hesitate, don't procrastinate. Come on, let's get this show popping. Let's go. Let's do this. Like, he wasn't mad at Judas. He wasn't calling him all out his name. He was like, yes, my friend, let's go. Let's do this. He used Judas for his good, for his best and highest and greatest good. And guess what happened? Because Jesus performing the crucifixion was a curse and a hex. Whether y'all want to call it that or not, it was a curse, it was a hex, it was a return to sender. That whole crucifixion process was a left hand of conjuring at its finest. And guess what? Judas ended up killing himself, according to the biblical text. He served Jesus. He did Jesus good. He was a servant of Jesus and Jesus' master plan and his divine plan. So Jesus got benefit from his quote unquote enemy who became his friend. And Judas ended up killing himself. So that is the teaching for today. Thank you so much for joining me for class today. And resources. I have an app, Mirrored Moments app. We are now in March 1st, and I'm getting ready to, once the new year comes, once we hit the spring equinox, I'm getting ready to clear out old messages on my app and start anew. So make sure you get the app if you want to hear some of the messages that I recorded back in 2022. Get the app before they are deleted forever on the app, and then I start adding more information. So you have until the spring equinox to hear previous recordings on the app, previous messages on the app before they are deleted and they are replaced with newer current information. The app is available on Android and iOS. So it doesn't matter if you have an Android or Apple product, you can get my app, Mirrored Moments. And you can go to my website, tiadeshay.com. I do personal development sessions for businesses and for individuals. I also have other services on there. You can also see my books that I offer. If you would like to purchase my books, you can go to Amazon and type in Tia Deshay in the search box. I have books of poetry. I have spiritual books. I'm currently working on my um, fifth book of poetry. And then after that, I will be working on a bibliomancy book where you can use this book for divination. So that's coming, that's in the works. And also, please like, share, and subscribe. I am so thankful for everybody that likes, share, and subscribes, that listen to the videos, and that listen to them from beginning to end. Even if you gotta put it on in the background while you're doing other things, or listen to it while you're driving, or if you listen to 5 minutes here and then 15 minutes later, but you listen to the entire message. I am so thankful for those of you who engage with me on that level. Thank you so much for your subscriptions. Thank you so much for your likes and your shares. I am eternally grateful that I have lived during a time such as this to be able to share this information with you. I'm so thankful, so thankful, so thankful. So until next time, stay blessed and stay aware.